Today we will be dealing with a two-dimensional elastic collision solved example. On a smooth, frictionless table, we have two billiard balls. Ball A of mass m, 1 equal to 2 kilograms, and ball B of mass m, 2 equal to 3 kilograms. Ball A is moving along a straight line to the right, with speed v1 initial equal to 6 meters per second, while ball B is at rest, with v2 initial equal to 0. After the collision, ball A is observed to move at an angle of 30 degrees above the original line. Find the speeds and directions of both balls after collision. Okay, before we solve this question, let us first discuss what an elastic collision is and what are its properties. First of all, remember that always, in any type of collision problems, the initial and the final momentum of the system must always be conserved. Secondly, depending on the type of collision, kinetic energy may or may not be conserved. Now, an elastic collision is a collision in which the total kinetic energy of the colliding bodies is the same before and after the impact. In plain language, none of the kinetic energy is lost to heat, sound, or deformation of the object. It is called elastic because the system behaves just like an ideal spring that bounces back without losing its energy. Then, a perfectly inelastic collision is the other extreme where the two bodies stick together after impact and move as one mass. In that situation, total linear momentum is still conserved, but kinetic energy is not conserved. Some kinetic energy is irreversibly lost to internal energy, deformation, or heat. Perfectly inelastic is the case in which maximum kinetic energy is lost. Most of the time, real collisions usually lie between the elastic and perfectly inelastic extremes, and they are called inelastic collisions. Okay, now let us solve this problem step by step. The very first step on solving problems related to 2D collisions is to choose the coordinate system. Let us take the original line of motion of ball A as the horizontal or x-axis, and we will measure angles from that axis. Then let this be the vertical or y-axis. Now let us name a few unknowns of this problem. Call the unknown final speed of ball A as v1f, and the unknown final speed of ball B as v2f. Then call the direction of ball A after collision as theta, which is given as 30 degrees above the axis, and call the direction of ball B after collision as phi like this. Step 2 is to break down the initial and final velocities of both the balls in the horizontal and vertical components. For both the balls, we do not have to worry about their initial velocities as ball B is at rest and ball A is moving in x direction itself. Now, for the final velocities, for ball A, the horizontal velocity component will be simply v1f times cos theta, and the vertical velocity component will be simply v1f times sine theta. It is simple to understand because if you consider this right triangle where v1f is the hypotenuse and this angle is theta, then this side length will be v1f cos theta, and this will be v1f times sine theta. Similarly, for ball B, the horizontal velocity component will be v2f times cos phi, and the vertical velocity component will be minus of v2f times sine phi. This minus sign shows that this component is in the negative y direction. Cool! Then, after step 2, step 3 is to write the three conservation statements. First is the conservation of momentum in the horizontal direction that says that initial momentum of both the balls in the horizontal direction is the same as the final momentum of both the balls in the horizontal direction. This means m1 times v1 initial in x direction, which is the momentum of ball A in the horizontal direction, plus m2 times v2 initial in x direction, which is the momentum of ball B in the horizontal direction, equals m1 times v1 final in x direction plus m2 times v2 final in x direction, so simply substitute the values. m1 is 2, then v, 1 initial in x direction, is 6, then m2 is 3, then v, 2 initial in x direction, is 0, then v, 1 final in x direction, is v, 1f cos theta, and v, 2 final in x direction, is v, 2f cos phi. We are given theta is 30 degrees, so this cos theta will be equal to square root of 3 over 2. So the first equation that we have is square root of 3 times v, 1f, plus 3 times v, 2f, cos phi equals 12. Similarly, when we conserve the momentum in the vertical direction, we get this as the initial momentum in y direction equals this as the final momentum in the y direction. We have simply replaced x with y here. We don't have any initial velocity in the y direction, so this side will be equal to 0. Now here, m1 is 2, then v1 final in y direction is v1f sine theta, then m2 is 3, and v2 final in y direction is minus v2f sine phi. Now theta is 30 degrees, therefore sine theta is half. So finally we have v1f minus 3 v2f sine phi equals 0, or v1f equals 3 v2f sine phi. Excellent. Now we need one more equation in order to solve this question. We will get it by using the fact that this is an elastic collision, and therefore the kinetic energy of the system is also conserved. This means initial kinetic energy of both the balls equals the final kinetic energy of both the balls. We know that kinetic energy is given as half mv squared. So we have half m1v, 1 initial squared, plus half m2v, 2 initial squared, equals half m1v, 1 final squared, plus half m2v, 2 final squared. Cancel the halves to get this. Now let us go term by term. m1 is 2, and v1 initial is 6. So we have this as 2 times 36, or 72. Then v2 initial is 0, so this is 0. Now m1 is 2, and v1 final is v1f. So we have this as 2v1f squared. Finally, m2 is 3, and v2 final is v2f. So we have this as 3v2f squared. Thus we get this relation between v1f and v2f. So now we have 3 equations and 3 unknowns. See, this is where solving math questions are so important, because they train us to connect equations step by step and reach the final answer logically. Don't worry, using the magic of math, these equations will be reduced to a very simple single equation. Just bear with me. First, substitute this v1f here to get root 3 times this, or 3 root 3v, 2f sine phi plus 3v, 2f cos phi equals 12. Divide by 3 on all sides to get root 3v 2f sine phi plus v, 2f cos phi equals 4. Take v 2f as common from here to get this, so v 2f equals 4, divided by root 3 sine plus cos phi. Now consider these 2 equations. Again, substitute this v1f here to get 2 times this square plus 3v 2f squared equals 72. Expand this to get 2 times 9 iv 2f squared times sine square phi plus 3 iv 2f squared equals 72. Divide by 3 on all sides to get 6 v 2f squared times sine square phi plus v 2f squared equals 24. Take v 2f squared as common from both sides to get v 2f squared times. This equals 24. So we have v 2f squared equals 24 over this. Hey, now square this to get v 2f squared equals 16 over this square, and then equate both of them to get this equals this. Both of them are factors of 8, and thus we get this as 2 and this as 3. Cross-multiply them to get this. Then expand this to get 2 plus 12 sine square equals 3 times. Expand this to get 3 sine square plus cos square plus 2 times root 3 times sine times cos. Multiply them with 3 to get 9 sine square plus 3, cos square plus 6, root 3 times sine cos. Now take both of them here to get this. This will become 2 plus 3 sine square minus 3 cos square equals 6, root 3 times sine cos. Oh my God! Here comes the most magical part. We know that cos 2 phi is the same as cos square, phi minus sine square phi. And similarly, sine 2 phi is equal to 2 times cos phi times sine phi. So this will become 2 minus 3 times cos 2 pi equals. This will become 3 root 3 times sine 2 pi, right? So we have 3 root 3 times sine 2 phi plus 3, cos 2 phi equals 2. Now divide by 6 on both sides to get root 3 over 2, sine 2 phi plus half, cos 2 phi equals 1 over 3. Now here comes the second magic. We know that root 3 over 2 is cos 30 degrees, and half is sine 30 degrees, so we have this. Now we also know that sine of angle A plus B equals sine A, cos B plus cos A, sine B. So this whole thing is the same as sine of 2 phi plus 30 degrees, which equals 1 over 3. Now the general solution for this is 2 phi plus 30 equals 180 minus sine inverse 1 over 3 plus 360 times n. Sine inverse 1 over 3 is nearly 19.5 degrees. So subtract 30 from both sides and divide by 2 to get phi equals this. So for the smallest case possible, put n as 0 to get phi as nearly 65.3 degrees. That was amazing. Now using these and simple substitutions, let me know in the comments what will be the value of V1F and V2F. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, you can support my channel by joining our community and becoming a member. So